I want to ask you something, and I need you to really sit with it. Do you remember when you just knew? Not perfectly, not without fear, but there was something inside of you that was clear, a voice, a feeling, a knowing, and you trusted it. And somewhere along the way that changed. And I don't think anyone has ever sat down with you and told you why. And that is what we're going to do today. It didn't happen in one moment. It happened in the quiet ones. The time you felt something was wrong and you talked yourself out of it. The time you stayed because leaving felt impossible. The time you shrunk yourself down to keep the peace and told yourself that's just what love requires. And then again and again until one day you realized you were asking everyone else what you should do because you had stopped believing you could trust in your own answers. And now it shows up everywhere in decisions that should be simple, in conversations you replay at 2 a.m. trying to figure out what you missed, in the constant question that follows you around is, am I overreacting? Am I reading this wrong? Is this a real problem or is it just me? And that's the exhausting part. You remember what it felt like before that. You remember being certain and you don't know how to get back there. And here is what I need you to understand. This is not a confidence problem. It's not insecurity. It's not something that is just part of getting older. This is what happens to a woman whose internal knowing got overridden enough times that she stopped reaching for it. I know this because it happened to me. Not because I was weak, because I was human and I am human and I was tired and I wanted things to work that were never going to work the way I needed them to. And every time I ignored what I knew, I taught myself that what I knew couldn't be trusted. And when that happens long enough, your brain recognizes around it the part of you that once felt clear and certain and grounded starts to go quiet. And another part takes over. The part that scans, the second guesses, that replays, that tries to protect you from being wrong again. So instead of clarity, you go into analysis. Instead of trust, you get hesitation. And you live in that space between knowing and believing yourself. You did not lose your ability to trust yourself. You learned it wasn't safe to. And your system did exactly what it was designed to do. It protected you the only way it knew how. But here is what that actually cost each of us. When you don't trust yourself, your system never settles. It stays on, it stays watchful, and it keeps scanning for the thing you might have missed. And ladies, that is exhausting in a way that sleep cannot fix, because this is not tiredness. This is a woman who has been her own most vigilant guardian for so long. She has forgotten what it feels like to rest inside herself. And God said it this way: be still, not push through, not figure it out, not analyze everything one more time, but be still. Because the voice you stopped trusting is still there. It never left. It's waiting for you to come back to it. And when you do, everything begins to shift. Not all at once, but you start catching yourself in the middle of the spiral. And instead of going deeper into it, you come back, you pause, you stop outsourcing your knowing to everyone around you. You start making decisions from something steady inside of yourself. Instead of from fear, you stop asking, am I overreacting? And you start saying, I know what I feel, and that is enough. So if you have been sitting there asking yourself, what happened to me? I want you to hear this. You did not lose yourself. You protected yourself the best way you knew how, with what you had at the time. And that woman, the one who kept going, who kept trying, who kept showing up, even when she doubted everything, she deserves to come home to herself. And she can. And that is the work. Not more information, not another program, coming back to yourself, rebuilding that inner trust that got buried under years of survival. The little girl in you is waiting for you to do this work. That is exactly what we walk through inside the Inner Healing Journey method. Because I did not build this from a textbook. I built it from this, from knowing what it feels like to not just recognize yourself anymore, but also how to find your way back. One path, one focus, one place built for exactly where you are. So if something in you just said yes while you were watching this, trust that. Start there. The link is right here in this description. And if you know a woman who has been quietly questioning herself, could you do me a favor and send this to her? Not because she needs more advice, but because she needs someone to tell her that voice inside of her is still there. She just has to learn to trust it again. Subscribe if you want more of these conversations. God bless your inner healing journey, and I will see you in the next video.